What's going on, guys? So here's a little bit of training footage. It's going pretty well. Made a few switches in kind of volume intensity type of training, and it seems to be paying off pretty good. So I'm going to be sticking with that for the foreseeable future. We do start meet prep here shortly, and what that'll just be consistent of is just switching a little things up as far as doing low bar bench or low bar squatting, and then also doing some sumo deadlifting for my main movements on those days, and just really getting into the groove of doing more compound movements and less accessory movements, and just continuing to dial things in is the plan moving forward after this week. I got a question the other day about how do I transition from a conventional puller to a sumo puller, and I guess first the answer would be is why you want to do that. The reason I switched over, I was doing conventional pulling throughout my whole strongman career, and from there transitioned to powerlifting and started doing sumo deadlifting, mainly because I was training at Boss Barbell, and that's kind of how Dan was teaching me to do it. And then I've also found that it allows me to train more frequently once my hips got used to it, and I'll get to that point in a second, but it puts a lot less stress on my lower back, so I'm able to train it a lot more frequently, get more practice with it. With more practice will come better technique, and eventually you'll start to dial in the lift more and more and get stronger at it once those muscles get strong at it, because it does take a little bit of active flexibility. So you have passive and active. Passive is the ability to get into the position. Active is the ability to maintain that position under load, and that does take some time, and it does take a lot of work to be able to get those muscles strong enough to maintain a solid position throughout the lift. Now, how do you get your hips used to it, and how do they conform to the transition? And from the best thing that I found is starting off with blocks, and that can be anywhere from 5 to 6 inch blocks. And what I did is, as I was progressing week to week, I would do 2 weeks at a certain block height, take about a half an inch off, go to the next block height for about 2 weeks, and this is during a hypertrophy phase, so that I can really get those muscles working and get them bigger, and put them under a load and put them under volume. And eventually every 2 weeks take about a half an inch off, and you'll eventually get down to the floor. And the idea is to continue to replicate proper technique with each lower block, and allowing your hips to adjust a little bit more and a little bit more to the strain and the stress. And just doing that during a longer off season is the key to making that transition work. And I would definitely say if you're thinking about it, make sure you stick with it, and that you are able to continue to see it through to the end. At least give it a chance. Some people just aren't made to pull a certain way, and you don't want to continue to force it and it not be there, and then you're just going to get frustrated and you're not going to make any progress, and things are going to definitely not be in your favor. So I would say if you're going to try anything new, give it a good run of 8 to 12 weeks to get the technique down, to see if it's a good lift for you, and to mainly see how you recover and perform with it. It may not be stronger for a year or two, but if you're able to recover and perform at a high level with it right now, then I would say keep it in, as you'll be able to get more and more practice with it, and you'll get better and better at it. And then, there's something to be said for leaving them both in. That way you are able to maintain some technical prowess at the other lift that you decide to go away from. And I think they do a very good job of building upon each other. As you saw this off season, for me, I was doing a lot of sumo deadlifts and a lot of conventional pulling. I think conventional pulling is a great way to build a big, strong back and posterior chain, and I just think it's a great muscle builder in general. So I do that a lot in the off season, and even when I transition to meet prep, I'll take the conventional pulls out, but I'll still do a lot of stiff leg deadlifts and RDLs just to keep those muscles strong and continue to progress them as the weeks go on. And obviously, as the weeks do go on and you get closer to comp and you're getting the heavier weights on your back, you start to take those things out as your lower back is the kind of the key factor of recovery when it gets to the heavier stuff. But you'll notice that I do leave those in, and I am a sumo puller, and I just feel like it has a extremely good carryover for me to my sumo and to my low bar squat. You can never have too strong of hamstrings, too strong of a back, so it's always good to push those as hard as you can. And that's what kind of my main objectives when I do my training and when I set things up, is to make sure that I don't neglect my hamstrings and I don't neglect my back. Even though my main priority right now is building up my quads and squats, I still get a lot of hamstring work in, and what that does is that also helps alleviate a lot of knee pain. If your hamstrings are really strong, it's going to be really hard for you to develop a lot of anterior knee pain or patellar tendonitis. And then, obviously working your back and training it like a bodybuilder on some days and then training it really heavy on other days is going to get you really strong. And that's going to help with both your low bar squatting, high bar squatting, or any type of deadlift variation that you're trying to do. So just take those things in consideration if you're trying to move into sumo. There's some guidelines for you to get better at it. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.